Now, to complete our lot plan, of course, we need to provide these details, and we shall start in marking the monuments for each point of our lot plan, of course using a circle command. So let's go back to AutoCAD. You may notice that I already have saved my drawing as a lot plan onto my documents, and you may also save it or not, so that you would repeat the same process and master polar coordinate entry in creating lot plans. And now, to mark the monuments for the points of our lot plan, let's invoke AutoCAD to do the circle command. So type C and then enter. Now AutoCAD prompts you to specify center point for the circle, and of course we want that circle to be exactly at the points where the lines of our lot plan meet. So make sure that your object snap is toggled on. Make sure that it's lighting on the status bar, or if not, just press F3 to toggle it on. So once it's toggled on, hover your cursor towards the points of your lot plan. So for me, I'll start from here. You may do a different sequence, but for me, I'll start in this particular point. So hover towards that, and once the endpoint appears, click on it to snap. Okay, and after snapping your point or your circle, AutoCAD now prompts you to specify the radius of the circle and an option for the diameter instead. But let's just stay with the radius. And assuming that we're going to print our lot plan with scale of 1:100, and we know that in scale 1:100, the graduation of the scale is equal to the centimeter of our ruler. So 1 meter in scale 1:100 is actually 1 centimeter in our ruler. And same is true with 0.2 meters or 200 mm in scale 1:100. When you measure that using your rulers, it's actually 2 mm. And for our circle radius, we want the diameter to be printed. If it's printed in scale 1:100, let's say for example it must be 3 mm. Therefore, we shall input 300 for the diameter, and since we are being prompted for the radius, let's input 150. So going back to AutoCAD, so for the radius, let's type 150, then enter. We could just copy this to every point, so let's invoke AutoCAD to do the copy command. So type CO and then enter. Let's select the object by window selection from top left towards the bottom right, and then click. And once the object is selected, hit enter to accept the selection. And now AutoCAD prompts you to specify the base point. Of course, we want it to be at the earlier snap point that we inserted our circle, or the center of the circle. And we could just click here, but for purposes of exploring AutoCAD, let's press Shift and then right click to open the contextual menu for object snap, and this time choose center. Okay, so click on center so that it will be the running object snap point, and hover towards the center of the circle, and the center snap point appears, and then click on that, and then just zoom pan so that we could position them to their appropriate location, and just continue panning and zooming through your scrollers until you finish placing them to the points of the lot plan. And when you're done, just press escape or hit enter to finish or exit the command. Before we do the other details, let's just have another run of the circle command. So type C again and hit enter. Now let's take a look at the command prompt, and you are provided with additional options for 3P, 2P, and TTR. Let's choose 3P by clicking it on the command prompt itself. So click on 3P. Now AutoCAD prompts you to specify first point on circle. And let's zoom out just a bit to see the other lot plan we created earlier. And let's choose this corner as our first point. So click and snap to this endpoint. And then AutoCAD prompts you for the second point on circle. And let's choose this endpoint. So click again to snap. And then the third point. So let's snap here at the origin and then click. So instead of creating a circle from its center, then specifying its radius or diameter, we have the option for 3P, 2P, or TTR. So 3P stands for 3 points. That's why we created this circle from first point, second point, and third point. And 3P comes in handy if you want to inscribe an object with the circle. Say for example, let's create a triangle. And let's create a polygon on the side of our drawing area. So let's type POL as the shortcut for polygon. After typing POL, let's hit enter. And AutoCAD prompts you to enter the number of sides. The default is 4, which is of course a square. And of course for a triangle, we need 3 sides. And you may wish for other polygonal shapes. For example, a pentagon which has 5 sides or 8 sides for an octagon. But for now, let's just have the most stable shape, a triangle, by typing 3 and then hit enter. And click anywhere to specify the center point of the polygon. So I just click here. And then AutoCAD prompts you to enter an option. Do you want it inscribed in a circle or circumscribe about a circle? Let's just select the default, which is inscribed, by hitting enter. Then for the radius of the circle that will inscribe the triangle, let's just say 4,000. So 40030. So 4,000 and then enter. Polygon command makes your life easier in creating perfect geometries. So explore it on your free time. Okay, you could create different geometric shapes using the polygon command. However, of course, you cannot enter one side and even 2 sides. The minimum is 3 sides. But just for fun, research on the Vesica Piscis or the mandorla, which is a Latin term for almond or almond shape, which is of course 2-sided shape. And it's regarded all throughout history as a sacred geometry. Anyway, going back to the circle command. So let's create the circle to inscribe our triangle. So let's type C and then enter. And of course, let's choose 3P. So on your command prompt, click on 3P and select each corner of the triangle as the 3 points of our circle. And there we have an inscribed triangle. Now let's try 2-point circle. So type C again and then hit enter. Instead of clicking 2P here on our command prompt, let's just type 2P on our dynamic input. So 2P and then enter. Now AutoCAD prompts you to specify the first endpoint of circle's diameter. So in essence, 2-point circle is created by specifying the endpoints of the diameter of the circle. 2P comes in handy if you want to create a circle in between an object or in between points. Say for example, along the height of this triangle. So from this midpoint, we click, and the second end of the circle's diameter to this apex of the triangle, we click, and there we have a 2-point circle. which is in between the base point or the baseline of the triangle and the apex. And lastly, hit enter again to recall the circle command. So enter. This time let's type T to select TTR. Okay, so T and then enter. TTR stands for tangent, tangent, and radius. So we have to specify first two tangent lines, a tangent to the circle that we want to create, and then specify the radius. So specify point on object for first tangent of circle. Let's say select this particular side. So select this one. And for the second tangent of the circle, let's select this side. And let's specify radius of circle. The default is 3000. That is the radius of the previous circle that we created. This one, the smaller circle. So let's just hit enter to accept that radius. Okay, so enter, and there we have a Vesica Piscis, and it copied the radius of the previous circle. And we have created another circle which is tangent to these two sides with a radius of what's that, 3000.